Hey Canucks fans, welcome to Clay's Canucks commentary for Friday, February the 8th. I'm Clay Emo, I'm at Canuck Clay on Twitter. I'm at Clayton Emo on Instagram. I'm the founder of the GLCPC, the Good Looking Canucks Positivity Club, and this is my Canucks take, all in one take. Last night, the Canucks dropped a 4-3 decision to the Chicago Blackhawks, 4-3 in overtime, so at least the Canucks get a point. And with that point, the Canucks, they fall actually out of a playoff position because St. Louis won last night. So Canucks are tied for 8th, but in essence they are 9th because St. Louis has played 3 fewer games than the Vancouver Canucks. So 55 points in 55 games. We know 82 points in 82 games is not going to be enough, so the Canucks are going to have to put some sort of streak together if they want to indeed qualify for the postseason. Decent game. The team played well. It was actually a very even game, and the score reflected that. And Canucks came back from a couple of deficits, a 2-0 deficit, then a 3-2 deficit. Goals by Biega, Leivo, and Elias Pettersson, of course. And it's interesting, the only game that the Canucks won on their road trip, the game that started off, their 5-1 victory over Colorado, they actually got outshot by a 9 or 10 shots. So Jacob Markstrom played very well. However, in their 3 losses, all 3 one-goal games, the Canucks actually outshot their opposition. So after beating Colorado last week, they lost to Philadelphia, they lost to Washington, and they lost to Chicago last night. Once again, all of them one-goal losses, and in all 3 games, the Canucks actually outshot their opposition. So that's a good thing. It's not like they're just blindly shooting the puck from the blue line. They are getting decent chances. They haven't had a lot of puck luck, but at least they are creating chances. They are working hard. So you can't say at all that they played poorly on this road trip. They actually played very well, and you just wish that they came back with more than 3 points out of a possible 8. So let's talk about last night's game. Josh Leivo had a goal and 2 assists. He was very noticeable on the ice in 16 minutes of ice time, and he was on the first power play unit, so that helped with his ice time. 6 minutes of that 16 minutes was on the first power play unit, because the Canucks did get 5 power plays. They only went 1 for 5, and that goal was the Pettersson goal at the very end with actually a goaltender pulled. The goaltender pulled, so they were actually at technically a 2-man advantage, you could say, as a 2-skater advantage, because of course Chicago still had their goalie in there. A couple other things to note about ice time with the forwards. Marcus Granlund had less than 9 minutes, and he doesn't get a lot of power play time. Nikolai Goldobin had less than 10 minutes. He didn't get a lot of power play time. If they do, it's on power play 2. And of course, power play 1 got all the big minutes. That's why Horvat played, I think, 23 or 24 minutes last night. And then Pettersson and Besser obviously had a lot of power play time as well. That first power play unit got about 6 minutes combined time. So you actually want them to score more than 1 goal in those 6 minutes. Interesting to see about Granlund and Goldobin, both guys under 10 minutes of ice time. And, when you take away Goldobin's power play time on the second unit, he only had like 7 minutes of regular ice time, even strength. However, because Vancouver also had to try and kill off 5 penalties, so that means there are 10 minor penalties. A couple of them overlap, but that means there was a lot of the game was spent in special teams. So not a lot of maybe below average even strength ice time. You look at Ben Hutton though, 31 minutes of ice time. What a machine. That's because he played all 6 minutes on the first power play unit, and he also played I think 3 or 4 minutes penalty kill, and another 21 minutes even strength. So 31 minutes, that's massive. Troy Stecher and Chris Tanev also came in the low to mid 20s. So obviously a lot of minutes there, because Pouliot and Gabranson don't play power play time, or they don't play shorthanded time. So between Edler, Stecher, Hutton, and I should have said Biega and Pouliot don't play power play or shorthanded time. So that means there's a lot of minutes to go around on the power play. It's usually either Hutton or Stecher that we saw a little bit at the end, and it was actually Stetcher's nice pass to Pettersson that got them the tie, going into sending it into overtime. I'll talk about that in a second. And then that, of course, on the penalty kill, then it's the 4 of them. So that's why Ben Hutton basically had 31 minutes of ice time. Crazy. Markstrom was fine last night. That's a pretty, once Chicago's going, they had 2 power play goals, so can't really fault the goalie usually on power play goals, especially how well Chicago's power play has been playing and how well they move the puck. And obviously anytime you have Kane and Taves, on DeBrincat's good, Saad's good, Strom's been good. So they're a lot of firepower on the Chicago Blackhawks. So let's talk about really quickly the Canucks goals. And Biega's his first goal, a nice little, that wasn't a floater, it wasn't that bad, but it was one of those seeing eye shots from the point. Good to see Biega, and he plays well, he plays hard. He'll never be a superstar, but he's solid, and he doesn't try and play out of his zone, out of his ability, so to speak. Second goal, Josh Leivo, nice. It was after actually some really sustained pressure. Canucks came out in the second period very well and very strong, and Leivo brought it in over the line, and a quick wrist shot, snapshot combination. More of a wrist shot, I guess, to the far side. He saw an opening and he picked it. Really nice shot by Leivo. And then, of course, the third goal with 1.5 minutes left. A nice pass by Troy Stecher, drawing on 6-on-4, drawing. I think it was Jonathan Toews over to him, looking him off, and then putting it back to Pettersson right in his wheelhouse. And Pettersson slams the puck past the goalie, actually off the goalie's head. 3-3, at least guaranteeing us 1 point. Pettersson, his 25th goal of the year. And then in overtime's crazy, right? 3-on-3, it just, sometimes it's luck. Oh, obviously it's skill too, but all it takes is a bad bounce or a deflection. So we saw it when all three Chicago guys were in. Markstrom makes a save, and then he was alert enough to shovel the puck out. I think it was with his glove, actually, or a stick. I can't remember. But he got the puck out to Pettersson, sent him on a breakaway. And it would have been amazing if Pettersson had scored. You can actually hear the Chicago crowd start to gasp as they recognize that it was Pettersson on a breakaway. But instead of doing one of his dekes, he went for a slapper, a snapper, and the goalie made a save. So unfortunately, then just a little bit later, Toews makes a nice move on a very tired and very, I don't know what he was doing, very nonchalant Chris Tanev, and scores the game-winning goal for Chicago. So all in all, it was an entertaining game. This isn't a 2009, 2010, 2011 Chicago-Vancouver rivalry, but it's still entertaining. Enough skill on the ice. And overall, I thought the Canucks played pretty well. Besser had 7 shots on net. He had 1 assist on the night. But he had 7 shots on goal, and he was playing very well. He was working very hard, and I think he had a lot of good chances, and hopefully those will start to go. And he doesn't seem too frustrated or whatever it may be. So Besser had 7 shots on net. Elias Pettersson had 6 shots on net. As I see that guy's behind me trying to look at something. So 13 shots between, and Horvat had 4 shots on goal. So between the big three, they had 17 shots on net, almost half of the Canucks total. And so you expect the big three to play well and to have a lot of chances that way. Aside from that, I'd say the Canucks should be encouraged by the way they're playing, but it's similar to what I've talked about in a couple of other videos this week. The margin of error is so slim, right? Whether it's a post, a crossbar, a big save, or a non save, or a nonchalant, defensive play, whatever it may be. The margin of error, not because the Canucks are so bad that they can't afford mess ups, but the standings are so tight, the games are so tight. I think every game for the next 2.5 months is going to be like this, and we're going to be scoreboard watching every night, which is exciting. It's an exciting place to be in the second week of February, as opposed to being out of it in January already, or whatever it may be. So it's going to be a lot of fun to watch. The trade deadline is going to be a lot of fun to watch. So we have a lot of things to talk about, a lot of things to anticipate. But the Canucks are going to have to start pulling out some of these wins, some of these close games, if they want to indeed make the postseason. Because like I said, you take away the top 3 teams in the Pacific and the Central, you could argue that the other 9 teams all have a shot. I don't know how realistic it is, but they still have a shot by points wise, by math wise, at one of the 2 final wildcard spots. So a lot of fun, a lot of things to talk about. The Canucks come home now. They host the Calgary Flames on Saturday night. I will not be going to that game. And then they host the San Jose Sharks on Monday night, and I will be going to that game. So 2 big tests, the 2 top teams in the Pacific Division who actually played last night. The Sharks won 5-2. So it's going to be a really good test for the Canucks. But the Canucks are playing well, so they should feel confident. And we shall see what happens when they return to the friendly confines of Rogers Arena. Okay, Canucks fans, leave a comment below. Love to know what you thought about the game. Are you encouraged, discouraged? What did you think of Josh Leivo's game? Pettersson, Besser, the breakaway in overtime, Tanev's play, especially on that goal, that game-winning goal by Chicago, by Toews. Talk about Ben Hutton's ice time, 31 minutes, whatever it may be. I love to read, react, and reply as always. Subscribe if you'd like to. Like this video if you'd like to. Enjoy the day. I will see you. I'll check in with you tomorrow as the Canucks come home, open up a quick homestand, 2-game homestand by facing the Calgary Flames. Have a great day. God bless, and go Canucks go.